Boom, baby. Listen to me. I'm telling you what. That song called After Midnight by our very own mod, Bukaki Drive-By, and his band called Quitter. Let me get the stream up and running. Welcome to Gabbin' Games for Monday, 16th of May. We are barreling into the summer, fellas. It is crazy. The speed shit is going now. I was going to tell you about summer movie season, but that's not about video games. I know what you guys want to talk about. Let me get the chat on the screen, and we will be starting. I can already tell by looking at the chat, we got some weird fanboys in there. I swear to God, you guys, it's like your children. What do you care? What do you care? I'm not going to get into it. You know it's stupid, though. Fucking maroons. Fuck do you care? Fucking video games, man. Go get a job. Buy what you want. Buy them all, man. You want to be a real gamer? I'm tired of that bullshit. You want to be a real fucking gamer? That's cool. Here's how you do it. You fucking play games. I mean, think about that for a minute. We're going to get in the news, I promise. But think about that for a minute. You know, there are people out there that are literally, like, kind of refusing to, you know, they don't understand. You guys, it's like you're standing in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory or his candy factory, and you're surrounded by a bounty of good shit. And instead of just appreciating that and saying, oh, my friend's got the lollipop, I got the chocolate bar, let's trade or whatever. You guys, I mean, you're a bunch of, not all of you guys, of course, a lot of you guys are smart people, but god damn, some of y'all are morons. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about why gamers are so gullible. Of course, we're going to talk about the Jim Ryan lifting up his pantyhose, and that's not how pantyhose work, Jaffe, and revealing the first batch of games dropping day one for PlayStation Plus and their various tiers that I'm still very confused by the naming convention. You'd think they could have at this point just said, you know, bronze, silver, platinum, or silver, gold, platinum to make it link up with the trophies or something. But we'll get to that. We're going to talk about, wow, right at the top of the show, I done got myself a little butthole tickle. I appreciate that, Carlos and Andy. It's Carl. Isn't that Chongo? Wait, no, it's probably Chongo. It doesn't matter. The point is, welcome to Diet Soda Soldiers. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very, very much. It's very kind. Why don't you guys be more like Carlos and join the Diet Soda Soldiers? Listen to me. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the news first. We're going to talk about Silent Hill. We're going to talk about what Xbox might need to buy come this holiday season so they can compete with either Ragnarok, which I still don't think is coming this Christmas, or whatever else Sony has. So we got a lot to go over. As always, super chats will always be read. Call-in on the Discord is absolutely free, and depending on, you know, how the day goes, we'll put up the red phone. So if you don't want to call in the Discord, you can just call in on your telephone. I do want to let you one quick thing about tomorrow. Well, actually, the whole week is going to be a very scattershot version of Gabbin' and Games, because I like when I can stream when the sun is out. I love the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock streams. The problem is my sleep schedule's fucked, fellas. And it's been fucked for a while. So this week, starting tonight, I'm getting that regular. And if that means we don't have as many streams, or they're gaming streams, but they're not news streams or videos, everything will be back to normal Monday. But I've got to get that. I think I give you guys a better show, and we have a better discourse when I am right there smack dab in the middle of the noon. And come around 5 o'clock, I'm ready to crash and chill. So that's what's going to be going on this weekend. But also tomorrow morning, before we get into the game news, Congress is holding a UFO hearing tomorrow. You can watch it live on the internet. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. That means if I want to watch it live, I need to be getting up at 6 a.m. We'll see what happens. But chances are, there's not going to be any more news than really what we got last time. It's going to be more of the same, just sort of shoveling shit. But, you know, you never know. You never know what can get exposed in a congressional hearing. That is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Let's get into the news. I'm going to blaze through the news to get to the features, which are like the PlayStation stuff and all that. I do want to say that Addy Pie says, hey, Jaffe, have you seen Sony is hiring a brand manager for Ragnarok, and says biggest hit this year, meaning it ain't slipping. You guys are morons. I love you, but you're a moron, Addy Pie. I'm not saying it's slipping or not, although I think it is. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. That just means that they you know, what are they, you know, what are they going to do? Play their show their hand in a LinkedIn hiring? Just relax. They'll let you know when you know, and it'll probably be out next year, but maybe it won't. God damn, you gotta. I mean, seriously, you don't have enough to play. You don't have enough to goddamn play? Fuck you, you goddamn clown. Let me tell you something. Until I see a little sticker by your name that indicates you're paying some ducats, not everybody who's not paying ducats, just you. You're up in the cheap seats all by yourself. He comes in here all the time like, start the news. I want to hear that. Fuck you. Fuck you, you non-paying motherfucker. I'll get to it when I want to get to it. And we are going to get to it. We're going to talk about Ubisoft Plus too. In fact, let's just jump right in and get to let's blaze through the news first, because there's some interesting stuff going on. For example, Elden Ring, fellas. Elden Ring is officially mainstream according to Kotaku, as it beats Call of Duty in sales. There's a pretty interesting write-up over on Kotaku by a lady named Claire the Johnson, and Claire the Johnson is letting us know that it's beaten Call of Duty Vanguard. It's about to beat Cyberpunk 2077 in terms of the best-selling game the last 12 months. And it's an article about why that could be happening. And I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'll just give you the high concept. It's easier to play. It's still hard, but it's easier to play because there's a lot more freedom. When you get stuck in one place, you can try a bunch of other things. There's the George Martin connection. There's people going, what is this Soulsborne nonsense people keep talking about? Fuck it, I'm going to pull the trigger and try. And then there's just a hype that gets everybody into it because they're like, oh, my friend's playing that. Either way, I never thought this was going to be the biggest game of the year. I think it deserves it. It is just a phenomenal video game. It's wonderful when the cream rises to the top. The cream has risen, my friends, just like Jesus on Easter Day. That's a lie. One of those things has not risen, and I'm not talking about the cream, which is a metaphor anyway. Oh, come on, man. Listen to me. There's a rumor that one of the things that Philip Spencer is going to do when he stands on that stage in a couple of weeks is say, hey, fellas, we got ourselves the Gears of War series remastered. Oh, God, who cares? Who cares? I'm not saying they're not cash cows. I'm not saying God of War 1 and 2 HD remastered for PS3 didn't sell a shit ton. Halo Master Chief. Oh, God, how do we get away with complaining about, oh, everything's the same, nothing's new, blah, blah. And then you run out and you buy this shit. Look, Gears of War is great. I'm one of the people online. A lot of people beat up on Gears of War 5. I love Gears of War 5. I thought it was really fun. But God, stop with the remasters. Enough. And again, it's probably good business because people are like, hey, the Xbox is selling better. There's a lot of people coming into the ecosystem that have never experienced it. I get it. I'd probably make the decision too. But don't take up one of your valuable slots of that 2-hour time period come June with Microsoft and go, hey, let's spend 20 minutes talking about Marcus Phoenix. Fuck you. No, I want new things. Let me get some of these super chats. I'm going to tell you about a game that is very near and dear to my heart, which is called Metroid Dread. Bo Bandy, you know I appreciate it, baby. You've been a member for 10 months here at the Gabbin' in the Games. If I was there in person, I'd give you a pickle tickle, but I'm not. So what I'll do instead is I will give you this. Do with that what you will, sir, but I sure appreciate it. Brett Williams, thank you for the super chat. He says, what was Xbox's plan if the Bethesda deal didn't wrap up? 2 canceled games equals no first-party games this year. What are they doing at Xbox? Well, to be fair on that, Brett Williams, these guys had time. The Bethesda deal, I think, was over a year ago, so I'm sure they were kind of moving. And you're never confident until you're almost at gold that you're going to have a title that you can ship when you said you did. So I'm sure something probably slipped. I don't know. I don't know if that was maybe they did something to accelerate it because they were counting on it. I have no clue. But as I've said ad nauseum, yes, there is something rotten in the management at Microsoft, at Xbox. And anybody who doesn't see that, you can love Xbox. You can be a big Xbox fan. I'm a big Xbox fan. But if you act like there is no management problem, you're just... Well, you're part of the story in a little bit when we get to people who are in denial. Eddie Torres and Gullible. Eddie Torres, our big bad Eddie Torres, been a member for 20 months. Thank you, sir. He says, hoping Konami sees the light and releases PT again. A physical copy is a must. Yeah, I saw that, Eddie T, on your tweet today. All I can tell you, Eddie, is I have a PS3 with PT. I don't think I'll ever use it, so it probably will be worth like $1 million one day, so I probably shouldn't give it away, but something to think about. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, I saw your tweet asking them for that. Who knows? Who knows? Metroid Dread has officially become the series' best-selling game. Sold 3 million copies since launch. Listen to this. This thing launched and it already beat Metroid Prime a few days after it launched in terms of best-selling in the series. So, for those of you folks who love it and like it, great. Enjoy it. I didn't like it. I thought it was, forget the badly designed onboarding. I thought it was visually similar. I didn't like the map, but a lot of people clearly love it, and that's great. Enjoy that. Oh, is it PS4 Bacon Magma? Whatever the fuck it is. Whatever system. It's PS4. Fine. I have PT on whatever. Whatever it's on. Just a little quick note. I just something I thought was interesting. There's not really big news here, but it is interesting. The Nintendo president, Furukawa, has said that the company's eventual motion away from the Switch to a new hardware platform is a major focus for the company. They are worried about the risk of resetting its user base. This is coming at you live from one of their calls, but it's reported on BGC News. What I thought was interesting about that, I mean, it's certainly a challenge, but and it'll probably push backwards compatibility to a very high level of import on the machine, so people can just roll over whenever and not feel like they have to abandon all their software. But whatever. This is what I thought was fascinating. I never thought about it this way. In its recent history, this is the reporting, Nintendo followed up its big successes, such as the Wii, which did 100 million units of hardware, and the DS, which did 154 million units of hardware, with significantly less popular successors. So the very next console was the Wii U. It went from 100 million to 13.5 million. The DS was a major smash, 154 million. The 3DS, which I adored, one of my favorite consoles, only sold half that, 75 million. So I didn't realize there was that cadence happening there at the Nintendo, where, I mean, you have to go back to the NES and the Super Nintendo to go, okay, they managed that transition beautifully, although ultimately they still got their hat, I don't know if they got it handed to them, but there was a real fight with Sega. But after that, the N64 never overtook the PlayStation, and the GameCube certainly wasn't a hit. But the last couple of generations, they really have been trading off massive zeitgeist, culturally significant product with a just absolute flop. So they probably are looking at it on a whiteboard going, what are we doing wrong? And the only thing I can think of just from a cheap seat location is maybe it's something to do with they're at their very best when they're innovative and innovating and sort of pushing the envelope and just going, fuck it, we're going to make cool shit. That's where we got the Wii, right? That's where we got two screens, that can be totally different or expand the battlefield, the playfield. And then when they iterate slightly to kind of just keep it going and add better tech, it's like, it almost feels, maybe it's just like it's heartless. It's like, yeah, we got to do it because people want better tech, but our heart's not in it. We'd rather be making something crazy and wacky and cool. I don't know if that's true. It is just weird that there is this pattern here, and I never really thought about it. Somebody in the chat, Good Sir Salvador, says, Jaffe, any news from the Twisted Metal TV show? I think I can tell you the news I have. Well, we know, because this was reported, we know that the woman, and I don't know her name, but she was the lead voice in Kanto. She is going to be the female lead in the new Twisted Metal show. She also is in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So that has been, I believe, confirmed. Or at least it was reported. I don't know if it's officially done, but that sounds pretty exciting. And then the word on the street is they start shooting a week from Monday. So this is no longer something that absolute worst case, it'll be like Wonder Woman. Remember Wonder Woman, the TV show? They shot a few episodes and never went to air, but you could find it on YouTube. They're going to put some shit on camera or digital or however they're going to shoot it. So it's going. It's going to happen. Whether or not it's great or bad or otherwise, I have faith in the pedigree of the team, but I could not tell you anything beyond that. So I'm excited. It'll be really interesting to see, what happens. Is Howard Mackey one of the leads, says Denova. Yeah, that's what I understand, is he's the main character who is John Doe. I don't think they've really revealed specifics about some of the other characters other than this woman who I don't know her name that apparently signed on recently. But this is going to, what is it, Peacock? Isn't that right, Peacock? All right, listen to this. I only wanted to bring this up. Because it's just, I just got to share this because I'm always so fascinated when people talk about split screen gaming from back in the day. And I loved still love couch co-op. I split screen obviously is not desirable, but it is what it is what we had back then. But there was a story a couple of days ago talking about 25 years after GoldenEye, there was a museum that is, they cover, the museum's actually one of the locations of the GoldenEye map, which is the big Arecibo SETI satellite dish where you fought on, and it was also in the movie Contact. Well, in celebration of 25 years of GoldenEye, the Center for Computer History, they have basically done GoldenEye, but they've split it to different screens. So you no longer have this kind of screen peeking and screen cheating and all this shit. And it's really weird to me because when we were making Twisted Metal 1 and 2 in black, all of which were split screen, and that was really the legs for those series, we just designed assuming you would sneak a peek or you would be looking where your friend is. We assumed that was part of the way you played, and so we made design decisions. I'm trying to remember what they were, but they certainly were things like, let's not worry about, unless if we want to have an area or a map that's about surprise, we will consciously make everything kind of look alike. So unless you're really studying your buddy's screen, you'll just be like, they're in the sewers somewhere. But the vast majority of the maps, we were just like, yeah, there's no, you might as well embrace it and go, oh shit, I know he's heading for the health stand in the rooftop hotel, because I know that it would change the way you were playing on your split screen. So I just thought it was interesting that I'm always hearing people talking about how they didn't want screen peeking and they didn't, we got to figure out a way to get around that. And I'm like, I thought that was kind of part of the fun. I thought it was part of the fun. Did I see, says Carlos, Carlos, is this Chongo? Are you Chongo? I don't want to call you Carlos for Chongo. The future is female tweet from the quartering. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Send me a link. I'll open it up. It's always an interesting time when we see what good old quartering wants to talk about. Okay. I do want to talk about Bacon Magma at the beginning of the show was asking me, saying, he was doing a typical Bacon Magma bullshit about, game preservation, and people are asking, but whatever. But it was interesting because there was a story that came out this week on Games Radar by Heather Wald, and she wrote kind of an op-ed about why it matters that Sony is getting more serious about their game preservation. Okay, cool. I'll read it. I'm interested. But, lo and behold, I only want to bring this up because it's kind of like NFTs in that it frustrates me as a semi-intelligent guy that I think I'm smart enough to understand things, but no one's explained it well. So this is either no one has explained what I'm about to say well, or these people are just talking out their buttholes and don't know what the fuck they're talking about, all right? Masochista, sit the fuck down. I'll get to it when I get to it. It'll be time-stamped. Fuck you. What? God damn. Again, this show should always be free and always be open chat. I find it staggering the number of people who don't have a badge by their name, that don't pay for the entertainment, the information, the work, that think they can sit up there and tell me what. Go suck my dick, bitch. Now, let's move forward. Here's what she says. So this is what's confusing to me about game preservation. This is the final part of the article. Now I want to read it really slow just to piss off Masochista. But here's what she says. Regardless, it's important work nonetheless, meaning preservation of games. Sony's vast catalog of games across many generations of consoles are part of a gaming history. And it's fantastic to see the company actively invest in this area with a dedicated team. It'll certainly be interesting to see if any of this work does tie into the new subservice offerings in the future, whether it will bring more of Sony's older library to consoles. Fine. Here's the sentence. Hopefully, if nothing else, it will help to preserve Sony's legacy of games released for years to come. I am so tired of this non-emergency topic being portrayed like they portray it in film and entertainment reporting about movies. We don't have negatives in film cans that are rapidly dissolving, and Martin Scorsese and Spielberg and Lucas have to spend money and time to build a whole institution about let's go back and put it all together so we never lose Citizen Kane, so we never lose Lawrence of Arabia. That is not this. It's okay to want old games on your systems. It's okay to be able to want to go to the internet and have access immediately to whatever you want. I don't know if there's a business model in that for these people, but that's okay. I appreciate that. But I'd rather you just say that instead of framing it like this is important work we're doing. We have to preserve the legacy. We have to preserve these old games that what? Are sitting on like 50 hard drives and on servers and in the cloud. Oh no, Load Runner from Apple IIe days. What will we do if it's not like there's a finite number of discs of it? It's fucking digital. I just find it. I hate the bullshit of it. Just own what it is. Don't fucking wrap it in this cloak of importance and urgency and act like and because you got all these people parroting you online now. Oh, it's important. Yeah. It's like, no, you just want to play it, and that's fine. Just own that shit. Just fucking own that shit. It's the equivalent of saying back in the day when I was a kid, people would say, oh, you get a sub to Playboy? It's like, yeah, but I do it for the articles. It's like, just fucking own that you get it to jack off in the bathroom with Playboy. That's what it's for. Bothers me. Look at Jay Moore coming in. Jay Moore's coming in, dropping a super chat. He says, ha ha ha, dollar gang. I don't know what that means, but he's got a little character doing a little dab, and that makes me happy. Fuck you, Centro. Centro says, this is your worst take yet. Here's the deal. If it's my worst take, you know what I would appreciate? I would appreciate you explaining why it's a bad take. The laziest thing a lot of internet people do is they literally come into a Twitter thread or a forum thread and just go, this is a bad take. Okay, why? Why is it a bad take? Bacon Magnus says Jaffe didn't preserve his last 3 games properly, so he don't care about other games being preserved. First off, the games are preserved. Maybe it's just you're not very bright and you don't know what the verb means. Preserve doesn't mean you have access infinitely to whatever you want to play. Preserve means that historically or for the record, for history, these things are saved in some place. So if for whatever reason the people that own them want to go back and either reissue them or learn from them or donate them to a museum, that is possible. That is important. But that is not in any danger. How many stories do you read a year about, oh no, there was another earthquake in Japan this weekend, and the one place where they kept all the copies of Super Mario 3 got destroyed. We'll never be able to place it. It doesn't happen. It's a horseshit false narrative that people have fallen for. Don't fucking come at me with that bullshit. Who's cranky today? Who's bad? That was the original version of Who's Bad from Michael Jackson. Who's cranky? Come on. Remember that video from Martin Scorsese, the bad video? Michael Jackson, all of 90 pounds, comes home from college, like he was from the streets with Wesley Snipes and his friends. He comes home from college, like college boy, like he got out, like he was ever running. The only thing he probably ever did in those streets where he was supposed to come from in that video is went out and get the mail and went right back inside. Okay, so he comes home, and Wesley Snipes is like, oh, Joe College, you're too good for us now, like he was like some kind of gang leader. And then they get into a big fucking shoving match in the subway parking garage. Some subway station. Wesley Snipes, 220 pounds, all muscle and, 6'3", and little Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson's character has the gall to push Wesley Snipes and be like, you ain't bad, you ain't nothing. And then that kicks off the song Bad. The first line of the song Bad is Michael Jackson looking at Wesley Snipes and going, your butt is mine, your butt is mine. I don't know how we got on this topic. See, if we do the streams earlier, the ADD med is working. Now, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. All right, let's move forward. Fuck you, You goddamn clown. Wait, Tony Barnes says that bad was supposed to be Michael Jackson versus Prince in the Wesley role. Prince said, wait, your butt is mine. Is that true? I'm out. Yeah, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Anyway, all right. Samurai Nerd says it's preserved, meaning the game, if we have it, but no one can play it. Okay, but that you're not, again, do you listen, man? Oh, the older I get, I just can't handle it. What did I say? I said that, of course, I understand if you want to have, I fucking said it like 3 fucking times. If you want to have access to the game as a gamer whenever you want it, I understand that desire, and that is a totally different topic that people might want to be discussing. That's got nothing to do with like this sentence at the end of the article in Games Radar. Hopefully, if nothing else, it will help preserve Sony's legacy for years to come. That's not in danger. All I'm saying is the story is about the merging of both of those narratives into one, and it's horseshit. And this guy comes back at me. Is it preserved if we have it, but nobody can play it? Yes, it is preserved. It's not, you're not owed the game, right? You're just not. Now, maybe one day it'll go into public domain. It'll be at a museum. Nintendo, from the goodness of their heart, will say, we're going to put out the source code for Mario 64. But my God, man, listen. Okay. I do want to get to this really quick. I just want to be clear, because some things I just know because I have this experience. Yes, Mr. K says, I'm saying don't act like it's some crusade of principle. You just want to play the game when you feel like it. Yeah, Mr. K should just be the translator. Maybe you are owed it once you buy it. No? Morally, maybe, but you signed a terms of service that said that's not the case. Listen to this. Tony knows this. He's a developer, still is a developer. I was a developer. I know this. But I was surprised to get this question on the YouTube, so I wanted to share it just in case, in the off chance you didn't know it. There's a guy who was commenting on my last Gavin and Games from last week about Starfield slipping and the vampire thing slipping. He goes by the name The Gunner. He says, Jaffe, I'm really curious. Are developers watched and made to give like weekly reports or maybe monthly reports on the progress they are making so that the company knows they aren't just screwing around while working and spending the publisher's money? Well, I assume that Microsoft Publishing works very much like every other publisher. Certainly most publishers have milestones, which mean at the beginning of the project, and these slide and change as you iterate, but the core of it is, here's your release date, and then here are X number of milestones going back to where we are today. And each milestone has sort of a checklist of things that you've got to do. I remember working with Scott Campbell and the guys back when they were single track on Twisted Metal and TM2, and then Mike was working on Jet Moto and Warhawk. And he had come, I mean, the guy is a great manager. He had come from managing military software, so he wasn't fucking around. And he literally got these giant foam core boards, and he had the checklist on them. And at the beginning of every milestone out in Utah, they would go up on a wall, and everybody knew what they had to do next to get paid. So what would happen is we would go out to Utah, or they would send us a build, and we would go through the list. And if it was met with satisfaction, they would get paid. And if not, they would have to work until it was met with satisfaction or until Sony wrote them a check. I assume that's how Microsoft works. Now, when you're talking about internal teams that are employees, obviously it's very different. But even then, we still had milestones. Even when we were, I got a check that said PlayStation or Sony or whatever it said, we still had internal milestones. And we had producers that went around all over the country, all over the world in some cases, and check the milestones. I don't know if that's what Microsoft does, but I can't imagine it's not. Oscar, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He dropped super chat. He says, as a minimalist, I'm totally fine just playing games on Xbox Game Pass. Me too. Saves money, and I don't keep shit in my house I don't want anymore. I am absolutely with you, pal. I am still very much a minimalist. I became one about 4 or 5 years ago. And, you know, I certainly haven't looked back. I mean, you know, I'm not like one of those guys that can live my entire life out of a backpack. But you know, I'm with you. But I do appreciate, though. I'm not saying that's better or worse. That just works for my lifestyle, Oscar, and clearly it works for yours. But what I will say is I don't feel that the people who don't like that, you know, like Eddie Torres, he sent me finally. I was like, send me a picture of collection. The guy's a collecting madman. I mean, it's really impressive to see people's collections. But it's just not for me. It's not for me. Master Millions TV, he retracted his message. I don't know what he said. But he dropped a super chat supporting the show, and I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Okay. I'm excited about this. Marvel's Midnight Suns got rated today. South Korea rating board rated it according to Video Games Chronicle. It's going to be a age 15 years and over. If you don't know, this is a Marvel game it's XCOM meets Marvel. I'm fucking happier than a pig in shit. I love the Marvel universe. I don't particularly care for a lot of the characters in this game in terms of you know, I don't really go out of my way to read about Sabretooth or who else? You know, I like Ghost Rider and stuff, but it's like I'd rather have Captain America and Iron Man, Spider-Man, all that. But whatever. Firaxis, Sid Meier's company, is making it. They're one of the best, probably the best strategy game companies in the world. They made XCOM. They made Civilization, the new XCOM. And it's coming out, I guess, in November. It was announced in 2020 for March 2022, but it was announced there was a delay. So I don't know when it's coming out, but according to this, obviously, whenever you get a game rated, you're submitting final. You can't get a game rated unless you're submitting final code, which means this pretty much done unless there's some weird thing they're doing like, hey, rate this because we want to do a trial run like they do with mobile games in South Korea, and now they need a rating. I don't know, but it looks like this is going to be dropping soon, and I'm excited for it. Okay, Master Millions back with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, PS Plus is like Game Pass and Switch Online looks. There's absolutely no way I can parse that sentence. I appreciate you supporting the chat and the show, and I appreciate you writing in, but what you wrote was, PS Plus is like Game Pass and Switch Online looks. Now, English, if it's your second language, you should be proud of yourself. People make fun of people who speak multiple languages. I think that's ridiculous. Smarter than I am. But that said, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but thank you for the super chat, buddy. Have I been in Japan, says Yassine. Yeah, I have a couple of times. I love it. Listen to this. Did we already talk about that? I think we already talked about that. Didn't we already talk about Gears of War? I don't know if we did. I'm losing my goddamn mind. I don't have my medicine. I'm a medicine. Jarvie Rock says the new Ghost Rider comic that's been releasing this year, awesome. Some great stuff. Oh, I've totally been diving back into Marvel Unlimited. I started reading the new She-Hulk. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally, I'll check that out for sure. If we talked about Gears of War, forgive me, I'm talking about it again, just real quick. The rumors are going to be putting out a Gears of War rebrand. We did talk about this, didn't we? Maybe I touched on it. I don't fucking know. I'm like channeling Ramtha. And if you know that reference, you are a kid of the 70s with That's Incredible. Ramtha was apparently a woman, a goddess from, I believe it was the city of Atlantis. And there was a bullshit artist back in the 70s that would go on all these TV shows. And she would say that she would go into a trance and she would say that, she was channeling Ramtha. So you would go to her, not concerts, but her meetings that you would pay for. And, she would be like I am now with Ramtha. What would you like to know? I think there's a book called Ramtha Speaks. I don't know why we're talking about this, but Ramtha's cool, man. Tomorrow UFOs, whatever. Let's move on. Gears of War, whatever. I like Gears of War, blah, blah, blah. Let's keep going. Listen to this. We're about to now get into a quick ad. We might even do the ads today because they're not ready yet. I want to show you something before we start talking about the Sony news, and we are. We're going to get into the real news. Just one second. Yeah, Midnight Suns, man. That's all I got. I mean, all I know is it's coming soon now, according to that release. I want you to look at your television. I want you to look at your screen for a minute. I'm not a big motion control ride guy, but this is fucking cool. And then we'll get into the news, I promise. I know, you guys have been patient. You guys have been so good. Look at this. Come on now. If you don't know, if you're just driving around your car and you're listening, this is one of the most advanced, I don't know if you call them gimbals, but it's a car seat that is hooked to this arm that seems to have incredible degrees of motion. And you sit in it, the little booth that is on this arm, and you play this kind of sci-fi Wipeout looking game. And it's just fucking cool, man. I mean, I'd probably vomit everywhere, but it is so cool. If you're listening, I highly recommend looking at the YouTube when you get a moment, because I don't even know where this is. I don't know if this is a private company that's making this to sell it, to arcades like Dave & Buster's, or if this is like at some kind of science museum. I have no idea. But look at that fucking thing. Orion's Angel says that looks dangerous for the people around them. Well, yeah, I mean, you can see kind of the cones with the rope. It's roped off. That shit's cool, man. That shit's fucking totally cool. I would ride that before I ride a roller coaster any day. All right. Okay. Let us now begin to get to the meat. But look, we had to get through the core news. A lot of people come back to the core news. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea what that thing is called. I just saw it on the Twitter. People come here for the core news. And we had to go through that. And sometimes it makes you smarter. Makes you smarter, like this guy.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
He's not a smart person. That's what's funny about the audio, is it's ironic. It's like it's ironic. Jaffe, if PlayStation were to bring back Twisted Metal, will they pay you royalties? Oh, God, no. They owe me nothing. They've given me so much. So much. But no, I worked on those as a I worked on those as a employee, work for hire. Wonderful benefits, wonderful salary, wonderful people. I never expected to leave and get royalties. Don't get me wrong, that would have been awesome. Can you imagine? But no, I make nothing off anything. But that was never promised. Ryan P says, are you really an Xbox ambassador? You know we're talking about that in a minute. But first we're going to talk about Silent Hill. I have a couple thoughts on this. So, I mean, Silent Hill, if you don't know, more and more rumors, including a leak of a couple of images that showed what was supposed to be the main protagonist, who's a woman, leaked, I think, for like 6 hours over the weekend, and then they got pulled down from pretty much everywhere. You can find them if you look real hard, but, that leaked. Apparently, that was a leak from the team Bloober, who are known for making one amazing horror game, Layers of Fear. And then beyond that, I've never been satisfied. I thought the medium, whatever, was very half-baked. I thought Blair Witch was cool, but very half-baked. I thought Layers of Fear 2 was really not good at all. I honestly think the guys at Supermassive who are making The Quarry with 2K and who made all those kind of like, Until Dawn. I love the idea of these companies competing to be like the main horror voice in video games. Bloober is so incredibly inconsistent now that they've actually gone beyond inconsistent. And it's like they usually miss. So I'm not like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But I know a lot of people love the Silent Hill, and that's exciting. I don't know if, Nomad has a good point. A new Silent Hill is never going to be what people want it to be. I mean, Silent Hill is so in the arms and wrapped up in the arms of nostalgia now. Same thing with SOCOM. That, yeah, I mean, what does it even mean anymore? It means so many different things to so many different people that, even PT, people were like, it's Silent Hills at the end. No one, you could have called it Silent Hill or Silent Hills, and you could have rebuilt the brand around what, at least as a demo, was amazing. Confusing as fuck, but amazing. But it didn't have to be called anything new. It could, anything that you knew. It could have just been a brand new title. But anyway, there you go. So Silent Hill leaked. There's also a rumor, the rumor that won't die is that Kojima is doing something horror-based with Sony exclusive. No one knows if this is true, but apparently I saw it. He tweeted out a picture of himself and a woman that looked like they were in Kojima Studios. And she did look a lot like the woman in the screenshot that got leaked. So some people are saying that's going to be Kojima's Silent Hill. And I was like, what do you mean Kojima's Silent Hill? And it's like, oh, the rumor is from a bunch of people, and it's being validated, or people are verifying it and saying, yes, these are my sources. Jeff Grubb came out and said, my sources are saying it. It seems true. Multiple Silent Hill projects are happening. There's obviously the one at Team Bloober, which is apparently the Silent Hill 2 remake. There's a brand new Silent Hill game, which I think that gets a little murkier in terms of what actually is happening, who is actually making it. There is a rumor that Supermassive is doing that one, actually. This is from Video Games Chronicle. It says, one of the projects is intended to be a smaller episodic series of short stories. We were told. Sources had previously indicated Until Dawn Studios Supermassive had once been involved in talks for such a project, which eventually evolved into its Dark Pictures games. This is interesting, though. One new name two people independently gave was Annapurna Interactive, the acclaimed publisher behind games such as Sayonara Wild Hearts, Outer Wilds, Telling Lies, What Remains of Edith Finch. They're one of the most consistent, impressive publishers for games that are more artistic on the planet. So I think that's pretty fucking exciting. They don't develop games, but they do... they do publish them. So unless they're opening up a development arm, I'm sure there'll be a developer attached to this. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see what they do. I literally almost purchased the Silent Hill 4 over the weekend because I was like, the Silent Hill 1 and 2 games are a little too antiquated for me because I never played them back in the day. And I tried to play them on stream. And I was just kind of like, it's too slow for me, But I did see Silent Hill 4, The Room, is available in Good Old Games, and I almost pulled the trigger, but I didn't have any time to game as much as I wanted this weekend. So I think I will give it a play soon, unless you guys tell me, no, it's terrible. Silent Hill is popular. That's why the franchise was dead, says Iron Mike. I don't understand what he's saying, but the gist is, again, Silent Hill has never been... it's not Mario, it's not Zelda, it's not God of War. It's for its time, it was an important franchise, but it was never one of the cool kids table. It was something more for gamers. And so I don't know if it's just going to be nostalgia, and then the game has to deliver, of course, or if people are going to show up day one and there's going to be 4 million sold in the weekend. I don't think so. Random Moose Brain's been a member for 20 months, buddy. I appreciate that. I do. He says, gamer opinion. Spicy gamer opinion, more gamer opinions. I don't know what he's talking about, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Random Moose. Somebody in the chat says, Jaffe, who's the most famous person you met? That's from Yassine. I met Spielberg a couple of times. That's probably the most. He's probably more famous than the other famous people I've met, but not tons, Back to Silent Hill. Nomad says the first Silent Hill was really cool for its time. The fog was creepy. The school was scary. That's it, though. We'll get into Gotham Knights maybe even right now or just in a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about Gotham Knights, too. I know we got some developers. Well, we have some real fucking hardcore, been doing it longer than me, developers in the chat like Tony. But we also have new developers. We have people who want to develop games. I just wanted to share this with you because this is... one of the top 3 mistakes new developers make. and I wanna share this with you real quick. This was over on the over on Steam. I'm drinking. It was over on Steam. There's a game that came out called Loot River, and it's very, very cool. You can get it on Game Pass, and you can get it on Steam, and you can get it on, I think, PlayStation, and I think it's coming to Switch if it's not already there. The high concept, though, is it's kind of a melee-based, very pixely, kind of looks like that game. What was that game where the guy with the sword, top-down, futuristic environment, very confusing, the words because there's no English. He had the sword. The guy who made it had a heart condition. I don't know. It's kind of that thing, right? What the fuck is that thing called? Oh, now I'm going to be stuck on that. Somebody in the chat, help. For the love of God, help. I did check out the chant, BB. It just looked like a boring trailer. No, it's not Zelda. I mean, it might be great, but the trailer was like, what is that goddamn game called? With the guy with the neon sword. Come on now. Anyway, whatever. Top down, isometric, something like that. Hyperlight Drifter. There you go, Zero Signal. That's exactly right. Hyperlight Drifter. And it's like that, but all of the platforms are on water. Okay? And you can move these platforms around like you move your character around. It's hard to describe. Check it out if you're into really interesting, cool games. There's some great gameplay in it. But they had some problems. They had some massive balance problems. It's meant to be a rogue game, but it's very confusing how you can retain some of it's more like rogue light, meaning you should be able to build up your character with certain abilities and stuff between runs, and it's hard to understand how that works. So here's what they wrote. They wrote this to some of the negative reviews, okay? We're a really tiny team with limited resources. We only play tested the game ourselves and with a small group of devoted supporters. This was a mistake. It was our fault, and we let you down by not realizing we're making the game so unwelcoming for new players ahead of launch. After reading all the reviews and feedback on our Discord, we know we have a lot of work ahead of us, blah, blah, blah. So I just want to point that out, that if you are serious about getting into games, and certainly at a small level where you don't have the resources that the company will tell you, we have to playtest this, you have to playtest your game. You just... People ask me all the time, why was Twisted Metal Black so hard? And that was a fucking AAA game for its time. And we sat there, Scott, me, Kellen sat there, and we eyeballed it. We were just kind of like, that feels pretty good. That's a little too hard. Dial it back, And what we shipped for the basic mode was way too fucking hard. Because we brought with us all of the experience of the muscle memory of the controller. We tried to pretend we were playing it new, but you just can't be in that beginner's mind. And so you absolutely have to playtest your game. And there is no excuse. It will kill you. It will kill your game. And maybe because of, updates, you have a chance to come back from that. Maybe. But it should be in your top 3 things that you budget for. That you go, look, I know we would rather have some cool cutscenes or this musician. None of that's going to matter if people pick up your game and walk away after 5 minutes because it's confusing or it's boring. And I just want to kind of go back to the Metroid shit. But whatever, you know my view on that. But yeah, you got to focus test it. The fact that these developers come out now and said we were really small, we play tested it with ourselves and a small group of devoted supporters, aka people were already rooting for us to win. Bad mix, man. Get the hardest core gamers you can find and just casuals you can find that don't owe you shit. No bacon, but you're just not smart. I'm tired of this. Don't come at me acting like you got me in a gotcha moment. You know why? Because I'm smarter than you about this. But Jaffe, I thought testers wasn't important. I think you mean you thought testers weren't important or easy to replace. Or did I mishear that quote? You did not mishear that quote. But testers are the last people that you want helping you tune the normal difficulty that 99% of the users are going to experience. Testers are not the same thing as playtesters. QA is not the same thing as playtesters. The last thing you want is QA. You want QA giving you advice on stuff that's too hard, confusing, I don't know where to go, and bugs, of course. If those guys can't figure it out, you know you're fucked. Okay? But those guys' muscle memory and those guys' mastery of the game, and no offense, but those guys' ego and girls' ego, that you got to be careful of with actual paid testers, because they'll be like, they won't. Sometimes I've had people who won't complain, and it turned out they were just trying to show how hardcore they were. And I'm like, dude, I'm not making the game for 1%. I'm making it so everybody can enjoy it. No. So you heard it wrong. I'm tired of people coming at me acting like that. I'm cranky today. I'm not mad. I'm just tired of putting up with the bullshit. I don't care about that. I'll read that later. Mike H, thank you for subbing over on the YouTube. Oscar Rodriguez, thank you for another super chat. He says, I'm the only one who thought SH Downpour was pretty good. Is that Silent Hill? Silent Hill 2, it's a personal hell story about one man's revenge leading him to pain and suffering. I don't even know. I didn't know there was a Silent Hill Downpour. I know there was Silent Hill The Room. I know there was Silent Hill where it's in the snow. It was on the Wii or something. But I don't think that was called Silent Hill Downpour, was it? I don't know. Here's one of the reasons I'm confused. There's a study comes out. Who did this study? They're researchers from Karolinska Institute in Sweden. The study revealed that kids who spend more time playing video games also experienced average increases in intelligence. Yes, I have met Kojima. Right? Video games, according to this study, make you smarter. 9,000 male and female kids living in the USA took part. They started at the age of 9 or 10. They underwent a series of tests measuring their intelligence. Then they went off. Some of them were just placebo. A handful of them, or 5,000 of them, got to play video games regularly. They came back, and only the kids that regularly played got the boost in IQ. The scientists said, we didn't examine the effects of screen behavior on physical activity, sleep, well-being, or school performance, because they did test kids who only played on cell phones and watched TV. And they said those kids, nothing bad happened to them, but they did not get the intelligence bump. So there's a lot more studying to do. How much of it's environment, how much their parents make. More research is warranted, it said, on the connection between games played during childhood and intelligence outcomes. For example, which types of games promote sharp cognition. So I bring this up, A, because it's interesting, but it's also interesting in the light of, if you look at your screen, this right here. One of the topics of today's show, fuck you, Wing. Again, this is what I'm talking about. I'm just tired. Wings of Water Retention says, sounds like pseudoscience. Does it? Does it, Wings? Maybe you could share why. Maybe you could share why that a 9,000 deep study done by Amsterdam and Sweden science institutions sounds like pseudoscience. And maybe you can share why anybody in the chat right now should listen to you over fucking scientists who make a living doing this. I'm not saying you're wrong. Fucking it sounds like pseudoscience. Really? Does it? From your travels across the plains of the world, it sounds like pseudoscience. You fucking moron. God, I'm tired of idiots. I'm fucking tired of idiots. And this is what I'm talking about. This. I don't understand. Oh. Somebody's saying, look at Wings of Water Retention's picture. Come on now. I mean, hey, I don't fat shame. I'm a big guy, but I'm just laughing because it's funny. Not that he's a big guy, but just because he's saying that. He sounds like pseudoscience. Does it? Fuck you. Zaf says it's a great sample size, so the conclusions are considered more valid. Still room for more testing, but the results warrant further study. That's exactly what I said. Right. It's exactly what I fucking said. But here's the thing, though. So on one hand, you can say, oh, see, gamers are smarter. Science shows it. No, they're idiots. Not all of them. Not most of the people in this chat. Most of y'all are pretty smart. But a lot of y'all are fucking stupid as fuck on Twitter. Listen to this. What are you talking about with this shit? Xbox ambassadors? You guys think this is not you? People on Twitter today were losing their shit thinking this is real and it's important. Listen, here's what happened. Here's the story. There's this lady. She goes by the name. Our very own Eddie Torres was able to see it. Like I said, smart people at Gavin and Games. Eddie's been a member since the beginning. He's the one who brought this to my attention. Miss Deuce Geek is a Xbox ambassador. And she comes out and she's upset, I guess, or pushing back against people like me. I don't think she had me in mind necessarily, but certainly I was one of the people who are like, hey, there's a management problem at Microsoft. Well, she says, to those criticizing Phil Spencer for the Starfield and Redfall delays, please consider, can you lead and manage one of the biggest brands in the world with hundreds of staff and moving pieces? No, you moron. Probably not. That's not my job. Other people can, though, and I've worked with them. Consider this. The pandemic has affected everyone. Yes, but every other company is able to get some games out. Have you considered slow and steady wins the race? Sure. Have you considered he's only human? Yes, but there are other humans that are doing it better. Okay. So then you've got people who have come after her online. And I took issue with this as well, though. So do I think what she said is stupid? Yes. It's dumb. It's just dumb. Shut up. Shut up, Miss Deus Geek. But not because you don't have a right to speak and that you don't have an opinion that's as valid as anybody else's, but because what you're saying is fucking stupid. You're a fucking moron when it comes to this topic, okay? But what I will tell you, though, is what is worse are the people coming out after her. This is a kind of a I wouldn't say we're colleagues or friends or buddies, but, we've had issues, but he seems like a decent enough guy. The Broken Gamers, Weapon Wheel podcast, he starts this off. An Xbox ambassador admitting she doesn't even play games. This is insane. Literally just posting and pretending to be part of gaming. See why people check credentials and gatekeep? No, I don't. Do I think what she said was stupid? Yes, I do. Guess what? A lot of us, including me, have said a lot of stupid fucking things. But that's not this guy's point. Xbox ambassador is marketing. You don't even get paid. Anybody, here's the stupid part. And then they're going like, oh, look at her high gamer score. She doesn't have a gamer score. She says, I never said I love Xbox because the games. I like it because games for everyone, the community. I watch my boyfriend play games. So, you're not a real gamer. You're not a real gamer. I don't know which is worse. Well, yes, I do. She just doesn't have facts here. She's just trying to keep her job or do her job. Who the fuck knows what she's trying to do? Maybe they're like, we'll send you a new controller, an elite controller. And that's what they get. If you're an ambassador, it is not a job. It's not real. They haven't reached out to you. That's what I mean. A lot of these gamers are stupid. They reach out to you and they might tell you, oh, you're an important part of our ecosystem. We really need you out there pushing the brand. And hey, Not everybody gets these elite controllers. There's a sweepstakes. And if you're an ambassador, your name will go into a jar of 500 other fucking people. And maybe you'll get like a $75 controller for free. Oh my God. Oh my God. Phil Spencer sent me a birthday card. Oh my God. Come on, man. Don't be a moron. It's nothing. It's marketing. So the fact that you're trying to hold this individual person, this Miss Deuce Geek, to some level of standard of what it takes to be a great and important Microsoft Xbox ambassador, what does it take? It takes, who the fuck knows? What do you look like? What do they need this week, this month to pump out? We need some disabled people in there to promote that message. Let's get that kid in a wheelchair. Oh, we need a hot chick. Let's get that hot chick. Oh, we don't have enough black people and Jewish looking people. Get the Jew in here. Let's get the normal. That's in air quotes. Get the normal. Come on. Anybody who buys this horse shit and thinks that there is something to being a Microsoft or Sony or any of this ambassador is a moron. Eddie Torres gets it. Zero Cool's Fantasy Props and Collectibles gets it. He says, sadly, this just proves everything can be manipulated by this kind of positivity plant. This is happening in more important areas outside of gaming. Yes, that is the real reason that I'm passionate about this. Literally, they tested 9,000 children. And they said, gamers are smarter. Gamers are smarter. You have a higher IQ, according to this scientific study, no matter what wings of water retention will tell you. And you fall for this horseshit. It's marketing, you morons. She could never have to hold a PlayStation. These are the same people that thought Kevin Butler was a real executive. I don't know what to do anymore. And I'm done pretending like I'm a nice guy about it. We're all different. Fuck you. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm done. Let's move on. Let's talk about Gotham Knights, then we'll get to Sony. But I want to ask you a question. Anybody who's still listening to this channel, you must think you're one of the smart ones, and I think you're right. So I really do want to know this. I really do want to know this. Nine Lives says, Jaffe, are you going to apply for the ambassador program? I should totally apply. Change my name in case they happen to know, oh, he's this annoying streamer guy. And I should apply and just totally be like a spy and shit in there. It would be so great. Or I'll like do it for Sony. I'll just like, Phil Spencer likes to come into my room at night. What? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that to him. I'm an ambassador. Listen. Listen to me. I want to ask you this seriously. First to tell you a story. You see what you're looking at on the screen? This is a pitch I did. I'm not going to pitch you the whole thing. This is a pitch I did for a game called Guardians. This is the brilliant concept art by Andrea Daly, Nafisa Tung. And we were trying to make this at Bartlett Jones. And one of the people we pitched was Warner Brothers. And it was a great conversation. I liked those people over there. It was a really good talk. And if you're not watching your screen or if you don't know what this was sort of a Left 4 Dead 4-player co-op with Flight. And it was about these 4 teenage girls that died and were brought back to life. And they came back to life with powers and the ability to fight demons on Earth. Okay. And so it was kind of horror-based and it was also action-based and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so we pitched it to Warner Brothers and they liked it, but they were like, we're really into the brands right now. Could you guys do this with Birds of Prey? And if you don't know Birds of Prey, it was a show, but before that it was a comic and it was like Batgirl, Black Canary, Huntress, or Batgirl / Oracle and one other one. Right. And I was like, we maybe, we got busy with something else. We never circled back with them, but yeah, it was sort of what we were doing. And they were, even then, which was a while ago, they were like, hey, we want to expand our are intellectual properties that aren't Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. Now, obviously, when you're trying to get a deal, you're like, hey, that sounds like a great idea. But in my head, I'm going, that's stupid. Like, unless you've got a brilliant take, like if somebody comes into you with a Batgirl take and it doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's fucking brilliant. And you're like, dude, it's only $7 million. It's indie as fuck, but that's cool. Let's do it. I'd love to see Marvel and DC do that kind of stuff. I'd love to see the guy who made Dusk make the Punisher game, right? Somebody even pitched that to me recently. Said, what do you think of that? That wasn't my idea. It's this guy's idea on Twitter, but I love that idea. Give it to a small little indie shop and let them go fucking wild, right? I don't care if there's ray tracing on the Punisher's guns. I want something that feels like fucking Garth Ennis and Tarantino came together and made like the fucking badass Punisher game, right? But if you're not doing that, because that could potentially lead to that character in the game space becoming an icon that could handle a game this big. But I bring it up because I look at Gotham Knights and I go, and I'm not one of these guys that looks at Gotham Knights and I say, oh, it looks like shit. I don't think it looks inspired, but it looks all right. It's fine. I don't like there's no crossplay. Obviously, they've decided that they're not going to be coming out with PS4 and Xbox One versions. So, it's current gen. And there's no crossplay. And it's not even 4 players. It's only 2. It's a ridiculous, weird thing. And then most of the game just sort of looks like, a Melee. This guy's not Melee, Red Hood. But it kind of just looks like a Melee brawler, play with your friends, sure, whatever. And he in the story, Batman, in the story he's dead. I'm sure he's not. He's dead in the comic. I don't want to get into it, but it's complicated. But anyway, whatever, it is what it is. It's fine, right? Nobody looked at this and was like, oh my God, it's amazing. But they're like, yeah, all right, cool. Even in the chat, Masochist says, I think it looks cool. Only bad I see is the fighting looks a little awkward. Right. I mean, it's very, unless we're just blown away by something we don't know yet, it looks like a pretty forgettable, but if they market it and put out a lot of cool DLC, maybe it'll work. Who knows? So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the weekend or the week when this came out last week and people saying, oh, we're not impressed. There was this article on PC Gamer where they're even saying Gotham Knights could use another delay, judging from the gameplay demo. So I'm in the minority. I look at it and I go, oh, it's, if it's on Game Pass or something, sure, I'll give it a play. Play it with Game Night with members and stuff. But I don't look at this and, go, it's amazing. But a lot of people have looked at this and they really don't like it. They really fucking don't like it. And it's gotten really negative responses. Okay. So I just bring that up only because I'm like going, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? I like Court of Owls too. Brian, he says, shame, I like the Court of Owls. They're the bad guys in the game. They're really cool. Great story. I don't know if it was Tom King who wrote it, but there was a great Batman writer who I believe was one who came up with Court of Owls, but it was a great group. Or a great enemy group to fight against. But yeah, Matt DeMarco says it's so weird banking on the third string characters. Jarvie Rock says, I don't get why it can't be cross-gen. It looks like it could easily play on PS4. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure it could have been cross-gen, but either resources or budget or same thing. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Scott Snyder. That's right, deleted Katie. It was Scott Snyder who wrote it. Yep. Tom King's the new Batman writer who writes the Joker like nobody's business. So anyway, I was just like, is that just me? Like, who's sitting around at Warner Brothers going, like, it's like, okay, do this, but give me Batman and give me Green Lantern. I get why you can't necessarily have Superman in this game because his motion mechanics are a little bit too out there. But give me Batman, give me Green Lantern, give me Wonder Woman, give me some fucking stars. These aren't real people that you have to like, well, Wonder Woman, her budget's gone up to $40 million a game. It's like, it's a fucking fake character. Give me what I want. I don't know what they're doing here. Let me, I want to talk to you about something. I want to show you something about this answer, but let me get the super chat real quick. BitCloud Gaming. Hey, I was hanging out with BitCloud Gaming this week on the Iron Lords podcast. Thank you, buddy. He says, "What's up, Jaffe? Awesome talking with you on the Iron Lords podcast. It was great. I had a great time with those fellas and with you over there. I love to come back sometime. It was a really fun conversation. I'm glad you had a good time too." Kiska, whose art you see, at least when we're over on this screen, that's Lord Garth. That's not y'all knucklehead. But he is one of our great sponsors, one of our God of War members. He just dropped a super chat. He says, "Jaffe, thanks for the ad, Jaffe. I really appreciate it." Oh, fuck yeah. But again, you're the artist. If you can come up with something nicer than that, not your dude. The dude looks great. But if you can come up with something better than my shit of your beautiful art going up the screen. But this guy does... Kiska does, I don't want to call it erotic, although there is a lot of eroticism. But he does like art of famous anime, geek characters, video game characters, cartoon characters, and a lot of it's pretty fucking sexy. So going over there and give him a look, it's good people. But thank you for the super chat, buddy, and thanks for supporting the show. I appreciate it. Okay, so anyway, we're talking about the Batman. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what is happening? What's going on? How maybe I'm just behind the times. How popular are these characters? So I do a little research. This is fascinating. This is the 100 best DC comic heroes of all time. Let's find out how low we have to go to find these characters. It's not terribly low, but it's low. Batman's number 1, Flash is number 2, Wonder Woman's number 3, Superman's 4. Nightwing's the first time we see one of these characters. Nightwing is number 5. 6 is Green Lantern, 7's Green Arrow, 8 Martian Manhunter, 9 Aquaman. When you're lower than Aquaman, you know you got yourself a problem. 10 is another Flash, Wally West. 11 Shazam. 12 is the Red Hood, which is in the game. So we've got at number 5... we've got ourselves, this is according to fans, Nightwing at number 12. We have Red Hood. Robin is 13. He's in there. And then if we go all the way down to 20, we've got Batgirl. We got Batgirl, right? These are B- at best tier characters. I don't know what they're thinking. Look at this, though. This was fascinating to me. There's a study done to reveal the world's favorite superhero. Look at this fucking thing, man. This is great. I love stuff like this. I won't bore you with it. I'll bring it up on a different stream. But the most popular superheroes in the world, and then it breaks them down by state, breaks down the most popular supervillains of the world by country. But this is funny. Spider-Man's number 1, 57 countries. Batman's number 2, Wonder Woman's number 2, 15. Batman is 3 at 11 countries. Iron Man is 4. He's most popular in 10 countries. Superman, 6 countries. Captain America is number 1 in 4 countries, of which America is not one of them. Aquaman is in 4 countries. The Hulk is in 3 countries. Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is in 2 countries. And Groot, can you guess what country Groot is number 1 in? I had to look up a map because I'm from America and we don't get taught geography all that good. Here's the bigger point. None of the Gotham Knights are even in the top 10 characters, right? China is Wonder Woman. Oh no, Russia's Wonder Woman. Turkey, for some reason, they've decided Groot is their favorite superhero. Isn't that crazy? But look at this. Here's Marvel versus DC. 51 countries pick Marvel, 9 pick DC. Russia and China pick DC. What the fuck's that about? Look at this. Marvel, DC in America. Most people are Marvel. 28 states Marvel. I wonder if you could link these up to red and blue states. Not their color, because DC's red here. But I wonder if you could somehow tell something about the population based on the fact that 28 states, including California and New York and all the traditional ones, choose Marvel, and some choose DC. Legend says if you're a comic book reader, these characters are known. Yeah, I'm a big comic book reader, but you need a lot more than the comic book readers to make your money back and make a profit off a game that costs as expensive as what's that goddamn thing called we just talked about? The goddamn Gotham Knights. The most popular supervillains in the world. Look at that. Look at that. Joker. Is there any surprise? Joker is the number one supervillain in America. Thanos is the number one villain. Of course, that is the Marvel MCU factor. Venom is in Russia. Venom. Look at that big black splotch of Venom over Russia. It's just crazy, man. And then somebody called Dakin. I don't know what the fuck Dakin is. Dakin is in one country, and that country is, where is, what? Let's find Dakin real quick on the map. Who can see Dakin? Is that green? Yeah, Dakin's green. Where is it? Does anybody see it? Japan's villain? Catwoman. Catwoman, that makes sense. But who's the fuck is Dakin, man? I thought I would see Lobo somewhere. Oh, it's Wolverine's son. So Wolverine's not even on here, but his kid is. Oh, but he's a bad guy. Okay. Where does anybody see where he's popular? Right of the UK. Okay. Oh, there he is, right there. What country is that? Let's find out. Is that France? People are like, what are you doing, Jeff? Get back with the show. I know. Is it Germany? It's Germany. That figures. All right, fellas. Anyway, there you go, Gotham Knights. Would you greenlight it? I'm going to put up a poll while we're getting ready for the next segment. Would you have greenlit? Put your executive hat on. Would you have greenlit, what's that thing called? Gotham Knights. And there's a Gotham Knights TV show that's about to come on that just got greenlit. Doesn't have any of the characters in the game. It's like, okay, it's got nothing to do with the game. All right, here it goes. Fuck yes, fuck no. Let me know. In the meantime, here's what we're going to do. I am going, while you guys are voting, to get a Coke. I'll be back in literally like 2 minutes, and we are going to talk all about Sony. We're going to talk about Sony PlayStation Plus. We're going to talk about Xbox. We're going to deal with all of that good stuff. So I'll be back in just a second. Don't forget to vote. It's at the top of the screen. By the time I get back, that's when we're going to make the choice. I'll get the super chats too when I come back. Hang on. All right. Now, as a reminder, well, let me tell you who won first. Here we go. It's in the poll. All right. Let's see who won. Fuck no. 57% would not have greenlit it, but 42, which is pretty high, would have greenlit it. Well, there you go. We'll find out what happens. Listen. Let me get these super chats. We'll talk Sony. Devin G has been a member for 3 months. Thank you, good sir. He says, let's see Red Hood's stupid double jump again. Well, it's already kind of lost up here to the ether, but what I will tell you, I have read people being snooty about that, and they're saying, apparently Red Hood has like a soul meter, and he uses his magic soul juice to let him jump. I mean, it's so dumb. But you know what it reminds me of? I was on Marvel Unlimited last night, and I read the very first Marvel comic. And the very first Marvel comic, or it was timely, but it was their first superhero, or one of their, it was a superhero comic called Red Raven #1. And the only time that character ever appeared in Marvel was Red Raven #1. And it's so absurd, like the Soul Jump. Literally, it's about an airplane that is in all kinds of horrible weather, and it's a mom and a baby who is flying on the airplane, and the plane crashes into a cloud bank, but it's actually a hidden floating city. And in the city are these people who, just like men on Earth evolved from monkeys, these men evolved and these women evolved from birds, so everyone has wings. So they raise him as their own, like Tarzan, and they give him some wings, and he comes to Earth and fights crime. I don't know why I'm talking about Red Raven, but look. Devon, thank you for that, buddy. Nick T says, Jaffe, you're an amazing dad. Thank you, sir. You give unlimited support and love. We often hear about your own experience, but what was your mom's reaction seeing your success? Oh, you're going to make me cry, boy. Well, first off, thank you, Nicky T, for being a member for 9 months and supporting the show. You know I appreciate that, buddy. My parents were just terribly supportive, and I don't mean that like they were bad. They were insanely supportive. They were problematic in so many ways. They had their own bags of hammers they were dealing with, specifically my mom, which made life challenging at times. But she was so loving, and my dad was so loving, and they supported every single thing. I mean, they let me tear up their house to make my movies, and we dragged lights and facades of buildings into our house to make a set in the living room. So when I started getting some success, they were, of course, very, very proud, and they were very, very engaged with it. You know, they would, the funny thing is, a lot of people remember, for example, the Olivia Munn interview I did at G4 that year, and everyone's like, oh, why was Olivia such a jerk? I'm like, it was a bit. She wasn't, but whatever. But what I remember as well from that is immediately after, my parents called. You know, they watched everything. They watched the press conferences. They watched the interviews. My dad would go out to the grocery store and talk the ear off people whenever he would buy a magazine and I was in it. And he would be like, that's my kid. And then go, really? And they'd go, yeah. And they'd talk about it. And then when I'd come home for a visit, they'd recognize me. It was, you know, every childhood has some problems because no parent is perfect. But I will say that if you have kids or you're thinking about having kids, you know, unless they want to go into a life of crime, support your damn kids. They're not there to make you happy. They're not there to live your dreams. You're there to be their cheerleader, to give them the coolest fucking adventure you can while you're here, and set them up for the best, not success, but for the most satisfying life. And they were wonderful. Bacon Magma says, has anybody seen my movies that I made when I was growing up? I have some. My brother sent me some. They're horrible. I'll put them together. Let me just take this lollipop real quick. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Hang on. Okay. Come on. I'm eating a lollipop. Okay. Orion says, why did you ask that question? I'm sad now because I'll never have kids. Why will you never have kids? Okay. I'm eating a blow pop, so shut up. So I'm getting the gum. Then we'll start. Good. Brett Moore, that's great. Brett Moore says he doesn't have kids, but he's one hell of an uncle. Good. I was an uncle when I was really young. It was fun. I'm still an uncle. Okay, here we go. We're going to start. Hang on. I'm getting my second win back. Give me a minute. If you're listening and not watching, close my eyes, taking some breaths, getting recentered. That's why most people who do this job take breaks. But I don't like to because I should start. It'll make the show better. Like I'm saying, I'm going to take the week and really plan some changes. Okay. Caveman says, why would you have a lollipop and a drink at the same time? It makes no sense. It makes total sense. Because that bite of taking the soda while you're eating the candy is delightful. All right, listen to me. Let's talk Sony. As you probably know, today Sony began dropping a metric butt ton of data about the come on now, don't look. I gotta move the chat. I gotta move the chat away because if I look at it, it distracts me. I'm putting it over there. Today Sony dropped a metric butt ton of data about PlayStation Plus, the games lineup, and some more details about the service. It's coming out, I think, well, we know it's in June. I think it's in a couple of weeks, though, like mid-June, whatnot. Let's go through it. If you haven't heard. It's interesting. And it's interesting, and I don't quite yet know what I think about it, but it is impressive. It's hard to not be impressed by it if you are a certain kind of player. Okay, here we go. This goes live June 1st in Japan, June 13 in the Americas. Okay, there are 3 tiers. We all know that. The tiers are incredibly stupidly named. They are insanely stupidly named. Okay, it makes no goddamn fucking sense. They really should have gone with silver, gold, and platinum. But instead we have PlayStation Plus, Essential, Extra, and Premium / Deluxe. They all kind of sound like they're good things, right? So I still don't know. I think Essential is what you get now. It's like PlayStation Plus now. You get the benefits that are currently available now, according to the PlayStation blog. And then you get some games, like a couple of games, 2 or 3 games a month. They haven't announced the games for June yet, but they will soon. That's what you get for your ducats if you want to pay, I think it's like $10 a month. Then it gets added to PS4 and PS5 game catalog gets added if you have PS Plus Extra and PS Plus Premium / Deluxe. Sony, what are you doing with these names? Morons. But here's what they're doing there. They are adding a bunch of games. Now, this is kind of what they already have on PS Plus, where you have a lot of these first-party games. But they have expanded it meaningfully. If you're looking at your screen, you can kind of see. I'll just read you a couple of them. But, you know, you've got, like, Bloodborne is up there. That's already up there. The ones that are, you know, Days Gone, Dead Nation, Death Stranding Director's Cut, I think, is new. Demon's Souls, which is one of the best first-party games right now on PS5, is up there. Destruction All-Stars, Tsushima Director's Cut is up there. Fucking phenomenal game. God of War's there, but it's already been there. Horizon Zero Dawn, Marvel Spider-Man, and Miles Morales. That's new. That's up there. Returnal is up there. And then Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection is up there. Uncharted Lost Legacy. And then you've got some third party. You've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's pretty big. You've got Control, Far Cry 3 Remaster, Far Cry 4. Guardians of the Galaxy is up there. Mortal Kombat 11 is up there. NBA 2K22. It just says Resident Evil. I don't know which one that is or if that's just the remaster from, you know, what somebody's like 2008 or something. All the South Park games, the RPGs are up there. Okay. So again, I know there's new stuff coming to PS Plus. If you have PS Plus now, what I'm a little confused on are all the games that are currently part of PS Plus going away and being put into PS Plus Extra and Premium, and all you get with PS Plus Essential are the 3 games every month. I don't know that, and maybe people do, but I couldn't find that data, right? So if we just stop here for a moment and say, okay, well, you want to pay a little bit extra for this. This will run you, is it 14 a month? It's like, it goes $10 a month and then it goes 18 a month. But it's a little more than the essential, right? And they're definitely, what's really interesting about this is 2 things. One is, if you are coming into PlayStation fresh and you've never been a PlayStation fan, this will and should blow your fucking mind. Because the amount of content you will be getting that is superb is staggering. It is an amazing deal. I think if you're already a PlayStation fan, this probably won't do all that much for you. This kind of feels like what you're getting now for PS Plus. They're adding some more games to that PlayStation Plus. What did they call it? Where if you go and, let me check the chat, but if you go to, what's that thing called where you they gave it a name, but it's like PlayStation Plus, and then you get like a bunch of games. That's not just every 3 months. You get like a library already. That's kind of what you're getting here. They're just padding it out a little bit, but if you never played PlayStation, you'll be happier than a pig in shit. And I'm not saying there aren't people who have a PlayStation that have played all these games, but certainly the more you've played, the less compelling this list is, right? So this, I don't look at this and go, ooh, I go, all right. The most interesting part of this to me is this the place where, like, the newest title up here, I think, is Returnal. I think Returnal came out a little over a year ago. We're looking at about 14 months. I think, well, no, it's like April. So about 12 months, 13 months since Returnal dropped. And here it is now as a, quote, free game. So is that some kind of signal that window of like God of War Ragnarok will be on this in a year? Maybe, but what you have missing from this is like Rift Apart, right? Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is one of the best games they make, and that isn't on this list. And it's like, okay, because that came out roughly in the same area. So maybe it'll be like 2 months after. I don't know if it's like they'll eventually start training players to go, oh, it's 12 months or 13 months, whatever. Okay. Then you get to the next list, right? And the next list is pretty interesting. And your mileage will absolutely vary, but this is the PlayStation Plus Premium Deluxe. Give me a break. We'll have a selection of popular classic games to play, with some titles that will show improved frame rates and higher quality resolution compared to original. That's nice. For select original PS and PSP classics, members will also get the ability, a new user interface with menus that allow you to save your game at any time and even rewind the game if you want a do-over. Also, that's new, it's whatever, but that's fine. Also, players who have previously purchased the digital version, this is all coming from Jamatsu, by the way. Players who have previously purchased the digital version of the game from the original PS or PSP generation will not have to make a separate purchase or sign up to PS Plus to play. When the titles are released for PS4 and 5, players can head to the PS Store and download a version for the console at no extra cost if they already own the digital version of the title. So obviously they're not doing it like Xbox is planning with the S, where you can have some proof that you own the disc, but still, that's pretty good too. Okay. And then they're going to have a couple of things. Remastered classics. This is what a lot of the hardcore were looking forward to. PS1, this is early. I mean, they'll rotate games in and out. This is not everything. But to kick it off, they're launching with Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, IQ, Jumping Flash, and Siphon Filter. I don't know about you. That'll take me about 5 minutes to burn through nostalgia, then I'm moving on with my life. PS2, they're not many, I'll just read them. Ape Escape 2, Ark the Lad, Dark Cloud 2, Fanavision, Hot Shots Tennis, Jack 2, Jack 3, Jack X Combat Racing, Jack and Daxter Precursor, Rogue Galaxy, Siren, Wild Arms. Almost all of these, by the way, just so you know, not all of them, are already available on PS Now, but whatever. You can download all of these. I believe they're on PS Now. I'm pretty sure I'm sure I've seen, I think it's the Jack and Daxter collection, but still, you can play the games. PSPS, Super Stardust. Then third party, Mr. Driller, Tekken, Worms. There's some PS4 remasters on there, Bulletstorm, Borderlands, Kingdom of Amalur. And then they have the streaming games for PS3 because they can, but they're not going to do the backwards compatibility. You can stream these to your PS4, PS5, and PC, just like PS Now works right now. And there's a bunch of games up there that are PlayStation 3 games that, you know, Infamous, Resistance 3 is there, Motorstorm Apocalypse is there, Demon Souls is there, and there's some third-party Devil May Cry, Fear, Ninja Gaiden, blah, blah, blah. And then they get into, finally, the time-limited game trials, which is really kind of disappointing. Because you would think they would launch with some... I mean, Ratchet & Clank is not on here. Now, again, maybe in a month it will be, but then I don't know what message they're sending at that point about what comes where when. Because you've got Horizon Forbidden West is on here. You can play it free for 2 hours. Or not free, but it's, you know what I mean, it's psychologically free. And then Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, which has been out for a while, you can play for a few hours on PS4 or 5, and then it saves your data and trophies and says, hey, do you want to buy it? And then on PS5, there's Cyberpunk, Farming Simulator, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, WWE 2K22. And then, obviously, new games will be added regularly. So, what I would say is, and again, don't misunderstand. These games are changing, right? I'm not meaning you to read it. This is for me to read. This is my highlight, so I know what to read. Jafari's saying, nobody can read that. Yeah, this is not for you. You're to listen, sir, and look at my beautiful face. You can't see my beautiful face. Oh, I'm so sorry. You must have been devastated. Yeah, Master Luke, there is no Twisted Metal on here at all. But again, this is rotating and changing and expanding. I don't know if they're going to be taking games out of the PlayStation collection of the library they provide and stuff, like the first party stuff, or those are just forevermore, like on Xbox. If it's a first party, it stays. I have no idea. So here's what I'll say. Oh, I know, Jafari, I'm fucking with you. I mean, if you are getting into PlayStation, this is amazing. Or if you are into PlayStation, but you really haven't explored a lot of what they've offered, this is amazing. Because, I mean, seriously, imagine walking into a store and going, assuming you could find one, a PS5, and you pay, I don't know how much this is, it's $120 a month, $18 a month if you do it monthly, for the highest tier. And you walk out, yeah, you might buy one or two games, but you get all of these just Miles Morales, Tsushima Director's Cut, Demon Souls, Death Stranding, Blood. You'll be set for years. If you haven't played these already, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, you know, you're not dying to play the latest and greatest anyway. You probably never have to buy anything. It's impressive, but if you've already been a PlayStation fan, and you've been in the ecosystem, this is just like, Like, I can't imagine I will be subbing to anything other than the basic tier, at least right away. The thing that would get me to sub at these levels up here, and again, I'm a minority in the ecosystem. I'm sure Sony probably thinks that most people that buy their hardware would look at these options and go, "Wow, that's an amazing deal." And I know there are people out there like that. The question is, are they the majority? But I assume they've done the research, and the answer is yes. But for me, anything I want to play that's first party, I'll just get when it comes out. Or I'll play it when it comes to trial and decide if I want to get it when it comes out, right? But what I will say is this, though. If you walk in this Christmas, now this is demolished, in my opinion, if Phil Spencer gets his shit together and is capable of delivering a cadence of software that is what was originally promised. Then you walk in this Christmas, and assuming he opens up his checkbook and writes some big checks, and you go, yeah, I could play these, quote, older games this Christmas, assuming God of War Ragnarok slips, which it will, I think. Or I can play Call of Duty day one. I can play Gotham Knights day one. And maybe I can play Harry Potter day one. Not exclusive, but they're, quote, free. And then eventually, when they start actually, assuming they do, who the fuck knows with Xbox these days, if they can actually start dropping Starfield and Indiana Jones and regular Halo updates and a new Gears and a new Doom and a new Spyro. I mean, come on. It's this... I understand people say, oh, it's not meant to be. Yeah, fine. But end of the day, you walk into a store and you get all that shit for free, and you don't get it for free on PlayStation. As much as you want to say this isn't supposed to be a competitor, that will be what people expect it to be. But right now, in a lot of ways, this is a better deal for, I think, your average gamer, because your average gamer doesn't love the indies like I do, and they don't love the double A's like I do. Your average PlayStation fan or someone who's going out to buy a PlayStation will probably be more engaged with these kinds of games and feel that they're getting more value. And they are, unless you love the kind of games I love to play, which is all of them. But I definitely think if Xbox gets its shit together, this is going to look very underwhelming. But right now, I think it looks great. Not for me at all, but I think it looks great. Also, the other confusing thing that's happened today is this, the Ubisoft Plus, right? So Ubisoft Plus has been on Stadia. I subscribed over there, or I subscribed on Luna, and it's been on PC. And I enjoyed it. I was glad it was there. I played it for a month, and I canceled it because I got all I needed to get out of it. I'm not a massive Ubisoft guy. But so we know Ubisoft Plus is coming to PlayStation and Xbox. We don't know when. We know, though, that Ubisoft Plus Classics was announced today just for PlayStation, and just for PlayStation at the, what was the tier? It was the second and third highest tier. So it doesn't come with the basic, but it does come afterwards, right? It comes like at the extra and deluxe premium, whatever the fuck it is. And what that is a bit, it has Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but Ubisoft Plus is a separate subscription, which everything is day one. So I forget what the new Assassin's Creed is, Infinity or something. That will be day one unless they change their plan on Ubisoft Plus. But Ubisoft Plus Classic will have For Honor, The Crew, Valhalla, Far Cry 4, both South Park games, Star Trek Bridge Crew VR, a whole host of, there's like 30 games. And that will be included in the purchase or in the monthly of the second highest tier and the highest tier on PlayStation Plus. So again, I've played all these games that I want to play, but if you haven't, that even adds to the impressiveness. And this is not on Game Pass. Game Pass, I guess at the moment, I know they have EA Play, and Sony has Ubisoft, and depending on what you're into, they're both great. But I barely touch EA Play on Game Pass, and I can't imagine myself. Like I said, I got Ubisoft Plus on Luna, mostly to play Immortal Phoenix Rising and the new Far Cry, and I played those for a little bit, and then I moved on and canceled it. So there you go when it comes to that. Now here's a question. This is fascinating to me. Here's a question. Well, you know what? Let me see if let me read the chat, because I'm sure you guys have some thoughts on this before I get to the second part of this story. Okay. Caveman has been a member for 17 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, as someone that has Plus and now currently getting the top tier at the same price as both, and I get tons of new stuff, it's a win for me. Yeah. There's nothing about this that's bad. It's only bad. This is awesome. Like, if it depends, if you're coming to this and you're just like an average gamer, or I don't mean like you don't love games, but if you're not like addicted and obsessed with playing the latest and greatest, this is insanely impressive. And it's like, fuck, the value is off the charts. But it's not for everyone, and right now it's certainly not for me. But but I get it. I get how this would be a win for a lot of people. Sorry, I was trying to figure out if I want to bring this troll, but I don't. If you want to call in, otherwise I'm going to ban you. Devin G's been a member for 3 months. Thanks, buddy. He says, let's see Red Hood stoop. Oh, we already did that one. Sorry. Okay. I just want to see what you guys think. Ubisoft Plus is Sony's answer for Game Pass having EA Play. Yeah, but I am hearing, well, again, Ubisoft Plus Classic is Sony's answer. I am hearing that they are going to be having Ubisoft Plus, not Classic, for both, which would be a separate subscription. GKN says, Jaffe, people underestimate what Microsoft can do. Imagine if the ABK deal goes through and every backlog from COD, Spyro, Hectic Crash. Again, I don't know about people. What I'm saying is, right now, based on what Game Pass is right now, if you walk in this holiday to a store and you can get lucky enough to have a choice between a PS5 or an Xbox X, and you are a more traditional gamer in terms of you like the bigger budget, more, generic style games, you're not looking for, really weird indie gems or double A's that really push the medium. You just want to play what you know and all that. The Sony deal is phenomenal. But yeah, if Microsoft can pull off what they're promising, this will look like Bush League. But so far, and this is why I keep saying people get all upset with me, Phil Spencer's great. No, Phil Spencer's fighting a goddamn Godzilla-sized opponent. And he's got the greatest war plan to take down a monster like that. But so far, his ability to execute on that plan has been shit. And if you don't agree with that, then you are living in denial and you're not worthy of listening to my wisdom or the wisdom of most people on this chat. He's done a terrible job at executing the plan. I don't care what you say. The proof's on the pudding, the writing's on the wall. Master Luke, thank you, buddy. He says, do you miss being in the absolute no with PS? I imagine devs hear everything all the time. Not really. I don't. There's just... all I can tell you is it reminds me of the rum I drank a shit ton of college graduation. I loved it. I got so drunk, I loved it. I never want rum anymore. I did too much rum. Drank too much rum. That time has passed. Every day, I'm so glad it's passed. No, here's the deal. I'm actually still in the know about a lot of things. I know, for example, exactly what Blue Point's working on. I know the answer to some of the questions that you guys ask that you want to know about. If I ever tell you I don't know, that means I don't know. I don't lie. But if I'm not sharing something, it's because I do know. And it's not my place to share that. So even if I knew it, I couldn't share it. But, okay. It doesn't matter why. Neo Mai says Microsoft can only do what they can because they have bottomless pockets. You say that like that's a bad thing, though. Sony can only do what they can because they have really talented developers. And they have spent decades becoming one of the best first-party publishers on the planet. I mean, everyone's got their bag of hammers and everyone's got their bag of gold. That's how the game works. Technically, I guess it's a remake. Oh, okay, I see. As you're saying. Okay. Okay. So here's the question. We know for sure. No, Eric says, do I know God of War's release date? No. If you hear me talking about something like that, you'll understand that I don't know. Because if I knew for sure when that game was coming out, then I wouldn't really talk about it. But I'm telling you, I genuinely don't know. But I don't think. So when I say I don't think it's coming out, it's because I'm using my critical thinking skills as a human and my experience in the industry, everything from dealing with PR messaging and knowing kind of the secret code to knowing development and knowing that team and this and that and the other and going, I don't think it's coming out. But if I knew, I wouldn't really talk about it because it's not my place to share that data. I'm just guessing like everybody else. Okay, so let's say we know over at Xbox. Here's what I was thinking, and I want you to help with this if you're interested. I didn't say. I want you to help if you're interested. So we know that Microsoft has lost their 2 planned big Christmas titles, and obviously come June they're going to say, "Here's what's coming on." Blah blah blah. I'm definitely of the mind that says Phil Spencer has absolutely got to take the checkbook and say, especially if Ragnarok does come out, but even without Ragnarok, with this deal coming out in June, come on, it's there's a lot to play if you can find a PS5. So he's got to have something. And assuming none of his internal titles are ready, which I imagine we would have heard about it if they were. Oh my God, Addy Pie, shut the fuck up, or I'm going to ban you. I've already addressed this. I've already addressed it. Why? What is the matter with you, man? He says Sony is hiring a brand marketer for God of War, and they refer to it in the hiring ad as the biggest release of the year, meaning it's not delayed. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. What it means is they have to put out... Come on, man. Are you dumb? They have to put out the LinkedIn ad. They have to put out the ad. Okay? How many news stories are born out of, we saw this on LinkedIn, this guy left Naughty Dog and he says he was working on a shooter, right? You don't think a company as savvy and big as Sony or Microsoft or any of these companies know that they are being, people are going through their virtual garbage trying to figure out news stories? I'm not saying you're wrong that it's not coming out this year. It might, but to lay that down as some kind of aha... It's like the dumbest Sherlock Holmes on the planet. Come on now. I love you, Addy. I'll take you to the sock hop. It's not ban... Devon says, that's ban-worthy? What? No. I'm just being a dick. I don't know the guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a passionate guy. But I'm just like, there's a point where it's like, are you listening? It's like, you don't have to agree. But if you don't agree, then offer a reason, counter me with something. Someone says, give him a break, Jaffe's probably 12. No, I won't. I'm tired of a lot of people using that as an excuse. When I was 12, I could think critically a little bit. So can Addy. Addy's ain't 12 anyway. Come on now. No 12-year-olds watching this fucking thing. Anyway, listen to me. So but I got no issues with Addy. Addy's my friend. I like Addy. Let's talk about that's an interesting idea. Master Luke says maybe Phil Spencer will buy up all the PlayStation 5s. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a fucking story. I did try to develop Drawn to Death Nihon Mahi as a single player. But Sony didn't want that. They were like, no, we want to, maybe if the game's a hit, but we want the multiplayer. So, Steven Spielberg, when he made Jaws, he, and I think his producer, what was his name? Brown was his last name. They went out and purchased as many copies that they could of the Peter Benchley book Jaws, to make sure that when the movie was being promoted before it opened, they could claim that it was the number one best-selling book in America. That's true. So maybe Phil Spencer will do that. He's like, maybe that's what he's been doing the whole time. He just sends people out to buy up the PlayStations. So what is he gonna buy? What's he gonna buy? Not exclusive, but day one, day and date. I don't think they're in any position that he can come out and say it's exclusive because of the whole FTC issue with the Activision deal, and they're really being, scrutinized and blah, blah, blah. But I could be wrong that that's different than saying, hey, we'll pay you some money. We want it on our system. We're not taking it away from anybody else. So if you go here, this is IGN's regularly updated page of releases. And I was just going through it going, what is coming out that is an Xbox game that would be meaningful for them to, thank you, RPG, would be meaningful for them to get, right? Now, I know Bacon's going to say BB and Tina, but short of that, I don't really see a lot. I mean, Sniper Elite 5, they could probably get that. Wouldn't really move the needle. I don't see anything in the month of May. Let's go to June. Free Jack, first off, that was a hell of a movie. Why would you write that? Phil doesn't take games away from other platforms anymore. Okay, would you explain to me why you would write that? Please let me know. Card Shark's too small. Diablo Immortal's a cell phone game. I'm looking, right? There's nothing. It's a way, you can't get Mario. The Quarry could be a great day one. I don't think that would move the needle all that much, but that could be a great day one. It's in June, though, so it wouldn't be a holiday release, and they better do it now if they're going to do it. It was originally a Stadia game. Yeah, it's already coming out. Sniper Elite 5 is already coming to Game Pass. Well, there you go. So it ain't that. Diablo Immortal's free. Diablo Immortal's a cell phone game, or it's free to play on PC as well. I'm interested in stuff like Madison, horror games, but that's, Monster Hunter Rise. I don't follow that, but I know that's a big deal. I don't know if it's as big of a deal in America. This is June, by the way. Okay, so, Jesus, there's really nothing. Demons Ate My Neighbors, which is, no. That'll probably be on there anyway. Okay, so we're at the end of June, and there is absolutely nothing. There's a lot coming out. I'm not saying there aren't great games coming out in June. But none of them are, will move your needle. It'll move your needle. Right? I mean, do you see anything? Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch, right? Okay, so there's your June, nothing. July. The things that come to mind are Warner Brothers. Ooh, Severed Steel, that's so good. Warner Brothers comes to mind. Go to Warner Brothers, get Harry Potter, get Gotham Knights, and go to Activision and write yourself a check and say, we would like Call of Duty Day 1. That's the only thing I can think of. September. Let's go to September. Right? I mean, the only people making those big games now are 2K, Disney Speedstorm. That's free to play. That's not a big game anyway for that. But If any dev can hustle their game out by holiday since it's open, they'd be smart to. Sure. I agree. Yeah, Hellblade 2 is not releasing this year. We've seen nothing. I mean, you never know. You never know, but, come on now. October, Forspoken is Sony. There's Gotham Knights. We got that. I guess they're saying Scorn's coming out. I'll believe it when I see it, and I'll believe it's good when I see it. There's nothing. You've got to go... you have got to go to Warner Brothers. He's got to be at Warner Brothers with a checkbook saying, help me, Warner Brothers, you're my only hope. Let us get Hogwarts. I mean, seriously, pay him $400 million for Hogwarts. Not even exclusive, just day one. $400 million for Hogwarts, $300 million for Gotham Knights. And then who gives a shit how much you pay for Call of Duty? Because it's going to come back to you. It's going to be your company in a couple of months. Don't worry about it. But they better do something. Not for me. I got tons to play. I like different budget games. but a lot of y'all don't. And their business isn't built on people who like that as much. I don't think Harry Potter Wrath-Izzle is a timed exclusive. Let me see that. You might be right. PS5 Hogwarts is what it is. Let's see. I know they're marketing it. Despite its ties to Sony, Hogwarts Legacy is not a PS5 exclusive. It's coming to all platforms. Hello, Andre. Good to see you, buddy. Is day one on Game Pass really moving the needle? It's out regardless to play. I think they would need to get exclusive, says Nebulex. It moves the needle for me. If you tell me that I can buy Hogwarts Legacy or I get it, quote, for free, I don't have any intention to buy Gotham Knights. But if it's on Game Pass, Call of Duty, same thing. Yeah, it absolutely moves the needle. It doesn't... if you're going to buy it anyway, you're going to buy it anyway. But most people, if you give them a choice, do you want to buy it or do you want to, quote, digitally rent it? Most people don't need to own it. They don't really care. Atomic Heart is day one, Game Pass. Yeah, but when is Atomic Heart coming out, though? Yes, Outriders did flop. It absolutely did. It was not bad, though. I'm a fan. Not bad, though. Yeah, Maskis says it moves his needle. How about this? Xbox starts a new series where they one-to-one arcade games. No. I mean, I'd play them, but, All right, Jason Pocketman. Let me address this, and maybe I'll make a video about it. I'll just make a video out of this. I want to be really clear on this, because people do accuse me consistently lately of being anti. So let's do it again. I got to clear the screen. I want to make a video on this. I'm just going to cut this as a video. People accuse me, this guy in the chat accuses me, why do you hate Sony so much? And here's what I think you're picking up on. I don't hate Sony at all. There are some people at Sony I don't care for, but the vast majority of them I like, and a handful of them I have great affection for. I have no anger at Sony. I have no salt for Sony. They have been wonderful from start to finish. I think right now, Xbox is the more exciting video game company because they are trying things that I think personally are interesting and will make the medium better and more exciting. Okay? So naturally, my energy and my which team am I rooting for, although I don't really care, I'm going to talk more positively about Xbox when it comes to those aspects because they're more interesting. Sony is doing the same shit that they've been doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think they need to change right now, but I don't like that as much. I'm bored of it. As much as I love Ghost, Tsushima, and God of War, and Returnal, Ratchet's one of the... I love these games. But as somebody who loves the medium, who's not a fucking child, that cares who wins a... Oh my God, you people drive me nuts sometimes. It's like, how are you real? How are you not a bot? As a goddamn grown-ass adult who just loves the art form, I am attracted to the unique, the fresh, the difference, the boundary pushing. Okay? That is why you perceive it as you perceive it. But I do not hate Sony. I don't hate anybody. I certainly don't hate video game companies except Bobby Kotick. I hate him. I love games, and shame on you for acting like you get to walk around with the flag of, oh, I'm a gamer. You're not a gamer. I mean, I don't care. It's like I don't gatekeep, but let's be clear. You're much less of a gamer than people like me. If all you do is hunker down with your stupid fucking box, and that drives your passion and not the actual art form, you're a fucking poser. It doesn't mean you can't like Microsoft more or Sony more or Nintendo more, but don't fucking act like you can sit at our table. You don't know shit. You won't play a game because it doesn't have fucking ray tracing. Because it's got pixels. Oh my God, pixels. Idiot. You're a fucking idiot. Gravity says, shut up and take my money. I think I will, sir. Thank you for that, buddy. I appreciate it. You silly lady. She's pretty. When I first saw Dakota Fanning, I was like, it's not my cup of tea. She's my cup of tea. I like her. Yeah, it's a good point. Jon Snow says Last of Us 2 is not on the new PS Plus either. That's a great point. Probably because they're doing a remake or they're doing an update, whatever. All right, let's move on. Nah. We'll save it. Well, there you go, fellas. That has been Gabbing and Games for Monday. This week, like I said, is going to be kind of spotty because I want to start getting this show earlier in the day. I said, did I say Dakota Fanning? No, Dakota Johnson? Yeah. I want to start doing this show around 2 if I can, but I got to get my sleep schedule on. So this week, my number one priority, I'll be streaming and I'll probably do another Gabbing and Games and I'll do some videos and all that good stuff. But I definitely want to be, my priority is to be able to get to bed on time and sleep until I wake up. And so come next week, I can start to do the show at the hour that I think makes for a better show. See how cranky I am today? Because it's late. It's late. Anyway, though, but regardless, thank you guys for the super chats, the memberships, the conversations. I saw you in the chat, P Turtle. I'm sorry I didn't get to you today. I was trying to get to a lot of news today. We can talk the next show. I did see Multiverses Legends, the Warner Brothers game. It actually looked pretty fucking good. I mean, that's not true. I don't know if the game is good, but the trailer was really good. Was really, really good. Craig, thank you, buddy. Craig Hooligan says, Jaffe, I really enjoyed your time on Iron Lords. It was a great time. I enjoyed it too. Got me through some long drives today. Oh, I love that. Thank you, sir. Mr. K says, whatever happened to the lovely show Crap Shoot that you took a week off to develop? Abandonware after 3 episodes. Fuck you, motherfucker. It's not that I abandoned it. It's that I want to put all my focus into this right now to get it as good as it can be. I'm not sleepy. Fuck you. You know what? Fuck. I just won't. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a Jaffe. Get who on Discord? There's nobody in there. Go put yourself in the voice channel. I'll bring you on. It's not magic. You can't just say I want to be on Discord. Go to the fucking Discord. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Diablo Immortal. I want to give it a try. Forgot what I was saying. All right, fellas. Thank you guys, everybody. Thank you, Mr. K. Thank you, guys. Thank you, mods. There's old Bukaki. Thank you, RPG. I appreciate it, fellas. I'm not... Fuck you, Eon, you piece of shit. I'm out. What's TRT? All right. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, everybody.